Test 2. I'm here with Jacopo, the lead design CEO of the game Fractured. He is phenomenal. Dynamite Studios, one of the best things in the world right now going. So it's kind of cool that we're able to sit here and enjoy a nice little kind of fireside chat, which is actually funny. In the background, we have the game's fire going. But AMA. Yeah. So what we'll do is we've got some stuff in Discord. We also have a couple things here. Because I have you in full view on Discord, I won't be able to pull away extrapolate the stuff. So I'll be reading from my phone, which I can pull those questions. There are a slew of questions that have been going. There's a lot of concerns. I know that you this week stepped in and kind of gave a real quick AMA, and we appreciate that. And with the COE travesty, I know a lot of people are apprehensive. I've been on the forums kind of calming people down. So one of the big concerns is, of course, and you brought it up when we talked, was your perspective on game development and kind of how things work and all that. I guess the lead question is where do you guys stand as a studio right now in the environment that we have with AAA studios just saying, you know what, thanks for the 8 mil, I'm out.
I definitely expected this question to come eventually. And actually, actually, before that, hi everybody. I think I didn't say that. And thank you for being here. I see there's a sizable amount of people. When I did the lives in the Kickstarter, there were definitely fewer, like 30 people or so. So this is great. So about the elephant in the room. Well, there are multiple things to say here, I guess. First of all, the case, I mean, each case is specific, right? The case of Chronicles of Illyria, I don't really want to get into that because I don't want to talk about a past competitor, and honestly, I don't know what was going on in their studio. I don't know how they managed the project. I don't know. I mean, I've actually never really followed the project. I just followed the design journals and whatever, but nothing else. Aside from that, though, I guess the big issue here is ambition, right? Excessive ambition, and it doesn't really matter so much if you're indie, if you're AAA. Making an MMO is expensive, and you carefully have to weight your resources and really stick to the core design and the core elements of your game, getting those done, and then getting the rest done.
Right.
And probably that's what was missing there. Good management of and good prioritization of what to do first, what to do next. I mean, in the beginning they were with Spatial OS, then they left and they were no longer with Spatial OS, and they were doing everything in-house. I guess that took a lot of time to recover from that. And then they were working several components of the game, very, very different and detached from one another in parallel and so on.
Okay.
None of those, all of those choices doesn't sound really wise to me, although maybe they were actually. As I said, I don't really know what was going on in there. But what I can say is I can speak for ourselves and how we have been managing the situation, right?
Right.
And I think that we are not exactly on time, right? That's also true. We Alpha 1, the pre-alpha was meant to start 3 months after the Kickstarter, and it started 5 months after the Kickstarter. Now that's a little delay, I guess, for crowdfunded MMO standards, but still it was a bit late, and the following testing phases were also a bit late. So we are not exactly on our schedule. We are close, but not exactly there.
Okay.
And the reason why we managed to at least be close, which for a 7-people team, I guess, is commendable. I hope, at least many people say so. It's because we have been focusing on creating an MVP. As soon as Kickstarter was done, I mean, we had already been prototyping a lot and already working on an MVP, of course. I mean, the video you could see on a Kickstarter, there were not one player walking in a forest. You know, it was you could see group gameplay. I mean, right. An MVP was there, like movement controls, PvE, PvP. That stuff was there already. So world build, the way to generate the world, and so on. So there was already a multiplayer game there. Okay. And after that, we kept focusing on delivering as I said, the minimum viable product. So controls, combat, exploration. Then it was building your house. Then it was learning new abilities. Then it was first using abilities and learning abilities. We tried to focus on all the core features of the game, right?
Right.
We didn't put much focus on the store or on selling cosmetics and so on. Maybe we should have actually, but we didn't. And so we really stuck to the core of the game. And I guess that's what made it. So even when we, for example, when we delivered the knowledge system, right, we didn't deliver the whole knowledge system. Right, what you have now of the knowledge system is the most important part, which is learning abilities from monsters, unlocking your bestiary, gaining knowledge points, and spending them to unlock the abilities, and resting and changing your abilities. That's the core, and we worked on the core. We cut a slice of that, the most important slice, and we delivered that. And in the following patch, in the next alpha, so you can also get this preview, we're going to have the talent tree, which is another important part of the knowledge system, but not so important. And it's coming 6 months after we released the first part. And in general, we've been working like this for everything, having a vertical slice of the game ready, and say, okay, it's been 8 months from our Kickstarter. You have a playable game that looks like a game, and not just a playground for testing combat or just one specific feature. And of course, in the first alpha, it was lacking polish, of course, but it was the very important thing was to have a slice of the product ready, and that's how we've been working. And I think that's how we that's been the recipe of our success development-wise so far, is that we don't waste time on secondary features. We don't waste time on making things too pretty. We deliver the core as much as possible, and in a way that of course cripples your monetization, because if you spend 2 months working on a trailer and on making the game look as good as possible, and then you deliver that trailer, maybe you make a lot more money than we did, because people get really hyped and excited and say, "Whoa, the game looks amazing."
Right.
If you used to look at Fractured in Alpha 1 year ago, it certainly didn't look impressively good.
I thought it looked good. I thought it looked good. I mean, I know that you're really hard on yourself, and the past AMAs and the conversations we've had, whether it would be on live or it would be behind the scenes, as a lot of people hear me say, I find that you guys are very hard on yourself. Like, it's not good enough, no matter if you're people are like, it's great.
No, honestly, I think it looks pretty good now. I mean, aesthetically, but we've been working on graphics a lot in the last 2-3 months. But I think that 1 year ago it didn't look particularly impressive. But if we had focused on promotion, we would have sold more and we would have gotten people more excited than we did. But we wouldn't have delivered the playable game, and we decided to focus on the playable game. I think that's the way to go. And for other projects, well, they have massive budgets. I think they're going to deliver. I mean, Ashes of Creation, Crowfall, pretty sure that. I mean, Crowfall has already delivered, right? It's in beta. Ashes of Creation, it should be dropping the alpha now. I think there are many other games that are going to deliver. So it's not the situation doesn't look so bad. Although I have to say that I think that the failure of Chronicles of Illyria had an impact on our sales, I guess, a bit. And in general, I see a lot of trash talking against any kind of Kickstarter MMO. In general, the concept of a Kickstarter MMO itself, that's the biggest damage done by the failure of Chronicles of Illyria to the whole genre, I guess.
Yeah, it was definitely a kick in the gut. It was a surprise to so many people. And in the last 3 days or so before this, before today, that when it dropped, I saw a lot of posts that were like, "Oh, I'm coming in from a bad way. Can someone help me?" And the community as a whole. And I don't have a massive presence on the forums, and I just started because I was starting to see that wave coming. I was like, someone's got to get in front of that. And a lot of people have been so supportive of explaining their views on how you guys work. And I have a bipartisan, situation. You and I talk behind the scenes. I think we do a lot of communication where, as the average person or consumer doesn't necessarily get that privilege. So I always try to get out in front of it. One of the things that you hear a lot That was a question inside of the AMA section, and also just in general on the boards too. Was I don't know if I like this. It's not what I paid for, and what I've been doing is educating people more and more. Do you understand what a true alpha is for? Do you understand what you're buying into? So expectations can be set. And then it's funny because halfway through the post, they'll say, well, I think you're right. I should test and not consume. And really and truthfully, where we're at in this day and age, along the lines of the question we had just seconds ago with you was, why are you deciding to do something more structured to traditional alpha, full alpha testing, whether it's 4 phases, 5 phases into the beta? Is it just because you feel the control there is driven by the proper foundation, the building blocks? Like, I mean, I can say from playing this test, I have 22 more FPS on average. I have better connection. I mean, so really fundamentally, the core features of what you're doing right now seem to be building a very good structure to then very easily insert the rest of the pies, the knowledge system. You know, I was sad, I will say, for some of my friends who played and you saw us, a little sad that we didn't get to see the big bad dragon in the Veil of Shadows. I know we'll get to that in part 2.
Yeah, it's going to come. It's coming. Don't worry.
Okay. All right. Now, so how do you feel right now with where you're at? You as a person, I know we've talked in the past, you are a gamer. You are building something you have always said, you know what, I'm going to play this. Where are you at? Are you comfortable with where your pace is at? Or do you feel that I know you said you're behind, that's just because we had a roadmap, but how do you feel? Do you feel the necessary need to jump forward or to rush something, or you're like, you know what, I'm okay?
Okay, first of all, I'm not actually expecting anybody or asking anybody in the community to test instead of consume. And I can tell you, if I was a player and I was playtesting an alpha, which I did, by the way, or a beta of another game, I was there to consume and not to test. So I would be pretty hypocritical, you know, to ask other people. You say, just focus on testing. If you find a lot of bugs, be happy and smiling anyway. Of course, it's not. I'm not asking people to do that. I know that people are mostly here to consume the game, to have fun, and to spend as many hours as possible in the alpha. And if they find a roadblock in the tutorial, they get pissed because they cannot progress.
Do you mean
and
the mage stuff?
Only a few of them. For example, or the toggle for the type of fiber used to make the color clothes. Yes, that stuff, right? So it's fine. It's fine. We're fine with that. That's part of the game. No problem. That's why we try to, as I said, have a playable game, not just one single feature to test. And I'm pretty satisfied with our pace. Not entirely satisfied. I mean, looking at the size of the team, I'm very, very satisfied. I mean, consider that for 1 year after the Kickstarter, we've been 9 months after the Kickstarter. No, 1 year, 1 full year after the Kickstarter, we only had 1 programmer. I was also me. There was also me doing something, but mostly it was one programmer. And after that, it was 1 + 1 part-time, and then became full-time, and so on. But and now we have 2 full-time developers, which is great, but we've run for a lot of time with just one developer, and it was being at the point where we are with just 1 programmer and 2 artists, let's say 1 game, 1 art director, 1 3D generalist, 1 VFX artist, then 1 game designer, and that's the team pretty much, right? And we also had another artist and so on, but mostly we've been always 7-8 people. And with such a small team, being where we are, I'm very, very happy. Super happy. Of course, I wish we had a bigger team and we had done more. That's I expected to be able to grow the team more after Kickstarter. I expected to be able to and expected to revenues and sales to be more consistent each month after the Kickstarter. Instead, we mostly sell only during testing phases. If there's no testing phase running in 1 month, we make very few revenues in that month. and that's a big issue, right? So we go on. The team, we have the money for the current team of 7 people. We don't have the money to expand the team,
Okay.
and if we had to, we would be way ahead of where we are now. So that thing doesn't satisfy me much. Overall, I mean, although all in all, it's been 1 year and a half, a little bit more since our Kickstarter, and we have a playable game with, I don't know, 50 hours of content. I don't know. It's hard to tell in MMO, but if you start playing Fracture now, and particularly if you're alone, you can play for a while, and it's only an alpha. So it's
when you get the mass of people that come with you as a group, and you have 6 or 7 is when you can really go through it. But when you go as a 1 or 2 team, you are correct. There's about a good 40 to 50 hours of gameplay there. And in an alpha, that's fantastic, because the amount of bugs that you're finding, they're few and far between, especially if you consume it at that rate. And where I mass consume, so I can do my spreadsheets with the group of players that I have, and we can get really nerdy and get on the boards and get that information out for people who don't have that kind of time to consume. We have found that it is very rapid to do, but the group I've surrounded myself with, and thank you guys, you know who you are, we consume, we get what we need, and then we test the hell out of everything. And it's been most fantastic, seeing a lot of things I haven't seen. People send me screenshots. Have you seen this? And I'm like, oh no, now I got to run over there and see it. So I think as far as an alpha goes, and I've done quite a few testings in my long testing career, it's been great. And you know, truth be told is, I look at it from a different perspective, you know, as where I do consume, but I also produce, right? So when people are watching me, I look at it differently. You know, they're like, hey, how do I get in? How do I pay this amount for this game? And meanwhile, in the back of my head, I'm like, well, how do you rationalize this to somebody? And I've always said, how much do you pay for a movie? What are you willing to lose? And especially with the COE thing coming out, which from this point forward, we can say the game that will not be said. You know, it's one of those things where it's all in what you can afford to lose or afford to invest, and how you look at it positively or negatively. And I'm happy to touch on something you said a couple seconds ago. I'm glad you didn't make a bunch of fluff. I'm glad that you're concentrating on the game. That goes to show how serious you are about it. And it's nice to hear you say openly to us, the chat, the AMA itself, how you've decided to say, we have enough to be okay with 7 people. We would love more, of course. But right now with what we have, we can do it. And that's a good, hopeful silver lining to what's a scary time in MMO right now. You know, so the openness is really what has appealed to me and a lot of my close gamer friends, is how you've decided to open up where others have not.
Yeah. Also, although I have to say that in a way, it was to test the game, of course, and to increase the quality of the beta, but it was also because we needed it.
Right.
I think that the biggest issue with we got like 130,000 bucks on Kickstarter. Not bad, I guess, for an indie, but it's nothing compared to the million of Chronicles of Illyria, right? Or the 3 millions of Crowfall, or 4 millions of Ashes of Creation, you know. And those games made as much money as Kickstarter in the months following the Kickstarter through their own store. So, and we didn't, right? And the biggest reason why that didn't happen is because we didn't start with a big budget. Right? We said, yes, we had some investors before the Kickstarter, we do, but it's nothing compared to the budget that they had, right? I think that the founder there could put in $500,000, the other founder put in 1 million, and so you get the point, right? I would love to do that, but I simply don't have 1 million, and not even half. I have not even half and half, and not. Well, you get the idea, right?
Right.
So without all that budget, without being able to produce beautiful trailers and show a big studio with 30 people and beautiful setting that looks expensive, like it speaks of money, right? Of look at how solid we are, look how reliable we are, right? And then having a front person who is a veteran of the industry and has 30 years of experience. And even if he's not a veteran of the industry, because Stephen Sharif is not, Caspian of Chronicles of Illyrian was not, they're still entrepreneurs, right? Stephen Sharif in particular, if you want to name that one. Crowfall, of course, it's also veterans of the industry,
Right.
but they are wealthy people. They are people with a success track record in other fields, maybe, but still, they are, they convey a different kind of reliability,
Right.
right? If I was watching a stream, watching the offers of one guy who has a big success track record and is a veteran of the industry, and looking at me, who I'm 30 years old, and I've been in the industry for 6-7 years, but it's nothing compared to the other guys, right?
Right.
So I would definitely give the guy and give the money not to me, but to the other person,
Right.
right? And so the way for us, I mean, we all knew that if we wanted this thing to take off, we needed to deliver a working product as quickly as possible to show everybody we can.
Right.
Look, right, you don't trust us because we don't have a big budget behind, we don't have a massive team, massive experience, and so on. Try the game, you see it works. That's our proof.
Right.
And now we also had the open. I mean, in terms of development, I guess people saw that things are happening and we are managing. We had this open playtest where we had several hundreds of people connected in the same continent, the continent of Mir right now, and servers were holding fine and so on. So also technically, now people know that we can. And the reason why we opened up so early, it's also this one, that we needed to prove ourselves in front of the public.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I agree, and I think you are. The feedback that I get from when I'm on stream has been it's weird. It's funny because people get hung up on bugs, and I think a lot of things are by you doing what you did with holding off and playing the cards you played really ended up being good. And the reason I say it is because the game that will not be named failed, and they did flaunt, hey, look at us, right? And nothing against them, right? Everyone does their own things their own way, and that's regionally or that's ethically. We all do our own things our own way. We do it, but it's kind of funny. Someone in chat just said, yeah, they did have the big building and the 30 people, but now everyone's working from home, and that big building's empty. Right. Meanwhile, you guys have had your head down. You're doing what you're doing. You're proving to people with this team you can do what you can do, and you're succeeding. And everything that you guys have put out fundamentally has worked. Now there's a hiccup here and there. Hey, I lost this when I was going through my inventory, but I mean, all in all, as a whole, I hate to say it, and I've alpha and beta tested, and quite a few people know of other games similar to yours, isometric over the shoulder, sandbox MMO style. You're more polished than a game that's been released just recently. And you know who I'm talking about, but we don't need to say the name, but I'm just saying, a little bit of scarred there. That's my own COE issue. But truth be told, though, is that what you are putting out is quality. So if someone has to wait an extra month to get something good, that's great. Example, we've got LO, Last Oasis just came out. Their back end completely crumbled. It's a great survivalist game, but they can't even play it. So what you're doing right now, and the time that we're in, and the apprehension to spend money on big corporations, to see a major AAA content fall out of nowhere, I think you're doing it right as a consumer, as someone who wants to log in and relax, and you can do that in this game. So I mean, I personally, me as a streamer, as a ridiculous amount of consumer, ADHD, got to play those video games. This hooks me and holds me, and the community is truthfully one of the best communities I've been into in a long time. They're very welcoming. For some reason, you're a big hit in Germany. I've got like 8 German friends now. Z Germans, Tommy,
Yeah, I also many of the biggest supporters and backers are German. Yeah,
Yep.
I know.
Yeah. So it's been really fun. So I've been expanding over there in general with meeting people. So I want to get into some of the questions so I know that no one thinks, hey, he's not reading our questions. And we've got the names that they have registered inside of Discord. So shout out to them. I'll read who it's from. Turi said, enchantments depend on reagent combinations, and sometimes it can be tricky to isolate just the upgrade you want highlighted. Are you planning on making it possible to isolate the recipe you need to get only the enchantment that you want? Or is luck going to play?
Okay, so 2 things. First of all, we're going to improve the UI of enchanting in the following patch, so you'll be able to figure out better what reagents to use, are used to find each power aspect, right? So we're going to make things a little easier, and you'll have to rely less on community made spreadsheets and or
Oh, come on,
wikis
all
and
that hard
so
work.
on. Well, I mean, those will still be useful, right?
Right.
But not as useful as they are now, which
Okay.
I guess is just fair. And the other thing, it will be possible with advanced enchanting tables that can only be built in town, right? Like all advanced crafting stations will only be possible to build them in town,
Hmm.
and it will be possible to choose what enchantment you want instead of, if you have a 4 active at a time and just
Hmm.
choose the random one. It will be possible to select the one that you want. It will also be possible to refine the essences that the regions that you're using now,
Okay.
making them more specialized, so to say, so that it's easier to get to what you want. So yeah, there is also this is the same as the knowledge system. The version of enchanting that you have right now, it's the core of enchanting.
Okay.
But there is a sort of more advanced version that's coming a bit after town, I guess, not in the next months, but a bit later, where you will be able to get to lower the RNG, okay, which I think it's already a very small RNG, but you will be able to get that complete, take that off almost entirely, and also you will be able to get tier 2 and tier 3 enchantments, of course, which right now are not possible.
I think there's two tier twos in the game right now. I think.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
by chance, yeah,
Just
yeah,
randomly happened because of how it was set up.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Now something along the lines. I'm going to try to filter. There's believe it or not, very good to know. There's like 100 plus. So I'm going to try to get to everybody's in the reference to like we're enchanting, so it'll be kind of crafting. So the next one that I have for you is from Lindiana Jones. Shout out to my mod, Big Heart. She says, as a crafter, and she is a massive crafter in and out of game. She says, am I going to be marginalized in this game? Once I make a set of gear, is that the end of my role? Can I be useful solely as a crafter, or am I going to be forced into PvE, PvP content? And then finally, as a crafter, are there bonus items that will benefit the person that focuses on their craft? So specialization of that craft specifically.
Okay, so first of all, I mean, right now you already see that you get durability on items, right?
Yep.
So items get destroyed. We made it slower than it used to be in the last test in February when it was crazy. In 2 hours, you could destroy your armor,
Mm-hmm.
fighting at goblins and so on. Now it's better, but yeah, there is durability, and so there's always going to be a need. And also, items cannot be repaired now, and maybe we might do something for that in the future. But anyway, the material requirements is always going to be high. So there's also always going to be a role for people gathering materials and crafting for sure. And consider that right now, also when you die, you don't leave your equipment and inventory on your body, but very soon you will. Specifically this
Ooh.
week, we are implementing the proper thing where you will leave your stuff behind,
So no
as it was
more,
always meant to
as
be.
I call it, ghetto port home.
No, no more.
Perfect. Awesome.
exploit
Okay.
it, exploit it while you can. But
All right. All right.
so yeah. So with that, of course, it's going to be replacing your gear is going to be even more relevant, right? Which is not a big undertaking in Fractured. As you can see,
Right.
you can make gear pretty quickly, and there's no we don't have like tiered gear like Albion from tier 1 to tier 8 and that type of stuff. We don't have very rare artifacts and so on.
Mm-hmm.
It's different, right? It's more replaceable. So there's always going to be a need for crafters, and I think there's going to be definitely going to be a room for one person to just do crafting.
Okay.
In terms of like progressing with crafting, right? Crafting progression,
Mm-hmm.
that's more related to your group rather than a single person. Meaning, as I said, most of the advanced crafting happens only in town, and you need to work with other people to get the crafting stations ready to craft that stuff.
Okay.
And it's a group effort, and I can imagine there's going to be people always focused on getting resources and crafting. In terms of the single person becoming better at crafting, uh, we'll do that if it's needed. Like if the group progression say it's not enough, if crafters really feel like they should be rewarded for their focus, We might implement we might implement an option that we always had on the table, but always decided to keep it on the table, which is achievements for crafters, so that they can increase the quality of what they craft, not only through the crafting station that they're using, but also through their own experience, the experience of the single character. But as I've said, this is just an option that is on the table. It might not happen at all if it's not necessary.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now, Vezin, along the same lines, in the AMA chat said, "Will there be any form of mini games in crafting? I know in the past, Vanguard was one of those. You got to do this, or add this to get higher tiers.
No,
so
no
it's just
mini games.
click and go."
Yeah.
Okay. And lastly, what we were talking about actually, very along the same lines, is I know we have a knowledge base with everything. And it's such a special thing, the way the knowledge works in game, right? Hey, look, I found the mushroom. Hey, look, there's a different mushroom, the penny mushrooms. Are you going to enable crafting to be very similar to that? And i.e., I go to the Goblin Camp and War Chief drops a special knowledge component that helps me be that one person on this, one or few that can do a Goblin-esque hatchet or club as opposed to a normal club. Has that been?
So we do have planned to have a tech tree on top of the talent tree that is also coming in the next version. So the next alpha test is going to have this talent tree, which is very important for fighting, combat in general. But we also are planning to have a tech tree where you can progress and unlock different recipes. So far we hadn't planned on having on giving players the possibility to acquire a recipe from an item dropped by a creature, right? Something so unique, which would be more artifact like. But it's something that we could explore later on. Not in the next months, so to say, right? Not during the alpha, because we have so much more left to build.
Of course.
Just two things: player cities, demons, Beastmen, so that's big stuff, right? But it's something definitely that we could explore for later on, because it sounds very rewarding and very fun.
Yeah, I think it really engages the. I mean, Liz, at the end of the day, I've come to learn playing sandboxes. We always thought it was a PvE, PvP, fine hard line, and I'm finding that there's actually a trimester to that, or a third section, and that's actually crafters. There's quite a few who I've come across in these sandboxes that they'll log on and craft axes for 12 hours just to get that special RNG that's the best, and I'm seeing that and I'm feeling that more and more. I saw it in Albion, I saw it in LOA, LOU, all these sandboxes. So it's nice to know that there is possibilities during the design process that it could be implemented, which shows you guys are willing to, like very much like D&D, right? You have the dungeon master who goes through and he's like, we're going to go from point A to point B. And then all of a sudden you guys are at a circus. That wasn't even in the gameplay. But because that's where the crafters wanted to go, they ended up there. So it's nice to see that you guys are willing to really find a matured wine and then add something extra to it and to make it better.
Yeah, but we're always open to good ideas.
Right.
And we've received a lot of good ideas over the last 2 years.
Right.
So last year and a half, whatever. So we are always, as I said, most of these very good ideas, if they're not connected to the core of the game, we have to consider them, but also postpone them to a later time, because as I said in the beginning of the stream, we really need to focus on the core. But after the core is done, some of those might and likely will find some space in the game.
Okay. All right. So it looks like a lot of the crafting stuff is pretty much summed up, and we're going to move into what we've talked about. And a lot of people don't realize that. And so there's always a chance that Jacopo can jump in and chat and surprise people. So thank you for that. And we talked about that there, but I want to bring it up here. PvP. I know that we talked about when you guys did your exit poll, if you will, after the alpha, that you found, oddly enough, that PvE was morely the focus of what's happening right now and concerns with the populace. So just to revisit that, can you explain what you found in those polls and the direction you're going based on those polls and why?
Yeah. So first we have obviously we also have our own ideas, right? So I can tell you right away, I can look at the numbers right now. So in terms of like upcoming features, we had, there was a question about points of interest, cities, PvP, the talent tree, metalworking, blacksmithing, and farming alchemy, which are kind of connected, so I put them together. And the most voted one was, make your guess.
Point of
John,
interest?
what do you think it was?
Point of interest?
Yeah, no, that was the least voted together with PvP, right? It's surprising.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I would think with point of interest, you would have more mob types kind of start coming around those points of interest, but no.
11% on points of interest and 9% on PvP. You could choose 3 options, right? So the total is no, actually no. I've rescaled that to 100%. Okay. So no, those two were the least voted, PvP and points of interest.
So what was the
The
top?
most voted one was the talent tree.
Makes
with
sense.
a good 26%, yeah, and with a 22% cities. Then it was also a decent amount of votes for farming alchemy and metalworking, and very few votes for PvP and points of interest. Which it's actually very good. It's actually very good to hear that there's not much request for points of interest, and I mean more creatures and so on.
Okay.
Because right now we feel like focusing on the 2 big core features that are missing. First one being player cities, and we're happy that we're glad that people voted. That their votes were aligned with our own priorities. Right, getting player cities out right now is the most important thing, and completing the knowledge system is a nice addition that can also keep you engaged for a longer time.
Right.
Because right now you can consume the items the whole game very quickly, also because you only unlock abilities, but you're going to have a talent tree with 60 talent points that you can purchase through knowledge points by spending knowledge points. So that's going to give you, a longer kind of progression.
Right.
They will force you to choose whether you want to spend knowledge points to unlock an ability or to unlock a talent tree point.
Okay.
If you don't have them all right now, you don't even care about your knowledge points, right? Have you ever cared about your knowledge points? I guess not. They're just kind of unlimited right now.
A little bit, I did, because then I noticed something in this last test that if I've unlocked 100% knowledge on that item, I didn't get any more knowledge from them. So is there no ability to? So example, I was fighting greater elements. We hit 100%. I stopped getting knowledge points on them. Is that intended?
It's always been like that.
Okay. All right. I just never paid attention to it. I'm like looking more and more in depth. Like, what are we looking at here? Because in my opinion, if knowledge points, what I love is the knowledge book itself. When you get 100, it unlocks everything, so you can see what their resists are, the whole 9 yards. By the way, thank you for fixing the resists on the monsters. That was great. I can use poison now and everything.
Oh yeah,
it's the small
I think
things.
it was a fix. It was a game design decision actually. No, it was not a fix. It was not a fix.
Okay.
Our game designer decided that spiders are no longer resistant to poison.
Okay,
So they're no longer resistant to poison.
that works. Now, there was something on top of what you just said there, earlier about our loot will now no more ghetto porting, meaning we die, our loot stays on the ground as intended. Deathwalker69 asks, it's quite a big question, but we'll see here. It says, this game is obviously full loot because we do have PvP aspects on it. Is it also like Ultima Online, which would be considered one of the originators or the grandfathers of how sandbox full loot works? The question really goes into, meaning with skills, can you be whatever you'd like, for example, a mage archer or a hybrid kind of warrior or warlock with that kind of system? Or are you looking to be just how you have them set up now, the 4 major characteristics?
I mean, right now the system that we're using right now, it's just a smaller version of the actual final system. So things are not going to change in this regard. Of course, the abilities that the attributes point that you choose when you create your character, they matter a lot, right? If you put everything on, if you put it all on strength and constitution, and you lower your ability, your intelligence to 6, you're never going to be a mage, right? You don't regenerate mana, you have no mana pool, all your abilities, all the mage abilities are way less effective if used by somebody with low mana. You're not going to be able to play as a mage.
Right.
If you create a balanced character that could be a jack of all trades, then you can one day it can be a mage, and the day after it can be a warrior, and the day after a mix of the two. It all depends on how you set your attributes when you create your character. That's always been one of the pillars of the design. After you created your character, you can learn all the abilities, you can match them as you want,
Right.
you can do whatever you want.
Now, on the PvP, I know you said that was like the least, but it's actually kind of funny because I'm getting quite a bit of the PvPers that are asking some questions. When PvP is fully unlocked or intended method is released, how will those not wanting to partake in these be affected by race and or planet help that factor? So I'm assuming the question is where the vampires and the demons, that's like everyone's going there for PvP, right? As opposed to the furry huggables, on the other looks of the worlds. So I think, I guess the question here, and to add a little to it, is how do you feel the makeup of each planet is going to really truly affect the PvP, non-PvP aspect?
Dramatically, I guess.
Okay.
Completely. I mean, the first thing we're going to deliver is the rule set of Synthesia and the PvP of Synthesia. We haven't done it so far, not only because it was not widely requested, but also because we don't have cities yet, and
Right.
so we don't have protected areas yet.
Okay.
And that's the problem. Like if we just implemented the standard rule set of Synthesia right now, we would end up full of we would have basically just one area of the world, which is the starting town, protected, and the rest of the world would be open PvP, and that would be quite an issue because at least 50% of our community, probably more, is more oriented to PvE, and you cannot just have your home and just one city where it's protected, right? It's not meant to be like that.
Right.
So we need to have cities and more starting areas, but also player cities. And once we have that, then we can also implement the right rule set for Synthesia. After that, of course, there's going to be, we don't know whether we will prioritize Arboreus or Tartaros. Depends on the needs of the community. If we have a massive influx of PvP players and they're really the focus, we're going to focus on the demons. If the PvE players are really concerned and really annoyed by the new rule set of Synthesia and they don't want to play, we're going to focus on Arboreus instead. It's just a matter of what we do first. That Fracture is going to be a home for everybody. That's what we want it to be, whether you are hardcore into PvE or PvP, competitive or cooperative. There's going to be a place for you in Fracture. What we focus is going to depend on what the community needs the most.
Okay, that's fair enough. I think that's a great answer. I've got one here from, and I apologize, Nestrilio, which is kind of something that's not used enough at games, I think, but it is a great concept, and I don't know how it would be worked in. But will there be families / dynasties / marriage / children? There were a few games that your account as a whole was your family, and then you would have lineage based on characters created. If that is A, and then B, would that have you, if that does come in game, could I have multiple races, or would I have to be my account only one planet?
Yeah. Well, I wish I could say yes to just catch some of the Chronicles of Illyria crowd.
That's probably where it came from.
Yeah. It would be pretty dishonest to say yes, though, because that's never really been a core component of the game. So the whole, I mean, there's a big political side there's going to be in Fractured, but that's not about families and dynasties and marriages and aristocracy, nobility, feudal system, whatever. It's mostly related to player cities, governors, ministries in the cities, guild leaders, control of hotspots in the territory, trading between the cities, and what resources each city has access to. That's going to be pretty extreme. Extreme in terms of like some cities could be completely cut off from some kind of resource, while others completely different resources and so on. So there's going to be sieges. A la Shadowbane, there's going to be a big PvP and a big political side to Fractured. It's different from the one of Chronicles of Illyria, right? It's not based on the same element. So to make it brief, you might, after full release, implement marriages between players because many people love that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's not going to be a core component of the game. It's going to be more like
Fluff.
something you do, fluff. Yes,
Yeah.
something you do for fun, right?
Yeah.
Not really related to the political side of the game.
I think that came from not only a Chronicles person, but also possibly a furry. So they might want to marry their wolf partner. We don't know.
If
Now
you're
there
playing
was
a wolf character, it's just fair that you marry a wolf.
of course. So here's a good one. Philosophies asks, once the game is released, how do you plan to monetize the game? And are you planning a one-time payment or a monthly payment system in the future?
One-time payment has always been.
Okay,
But
what's your?
There's going to be a VIP subscription.
There we go.
Yeah, but it's not going to be relevant. It's not going to sell power. It's going only to sell more cosmetics, discounts in the store, little time savers, and little utility, but nothing really giving you an advantage. You will be able to play without having a VIP subscription, even
Okay.
if you are a hyper competitive guy.
Fair enough. Now, kind of along, I guess we're along the same lines of just fundamentals here with the game and your design. So Lenny, Lenny, asked this question: what will the distribution of servers be like around the world? Will they be regional, NA, EU, and others? And how many players can fit comfortably on your servers?
We have an article on that on our website. I think I can link to it if you want right now.
Okay.
But now let me look for it. But just to keep it brief, we're going to have right now we just have one server in US East. But Spatial OS relies on the Google Cloud, and the Google Cloud can actually host servers pretty much everywhere in the world, right?
Yep.
So here's the article. I can drop it in the chat. Here it comes. So yeah, once there's too much pressure on this USD server, we're going to have, well, hopefully there's going to be too much pressure, right? We're going to have a EU server first, and we can shard out as much as we want. Anyway, on one single, we're calling it server. It's actually clusters of servers. That Spatial OS is a cloud-based system. It's pretty complicated and pretty awesome. But right now we expect to have maybe 1,000 players within one single continent, right?
Wow.
At most 1,000, 2,000 maybe. You can see it. We had several hundred already in the other playtest, and it was in the open playtest, and it was already getting pretty crowded.
Right.
So once we have all the points of interest and the cities and so on, I think it's fair to have no more than 1,000 people connected within the continent of Mir, because otherwise, more than that, it will start feeling really crowded, right? The hotspots and so on. So consider though that we have 3 continents planned for each planet, and there's 3 planets: Dacia, Boreas, and Tartaros. So that would make it 9,000, right? So it's fair to say that one single universe, can contain up to 10,000 people. Something between 5,000 and 10,000 people, and there's going to be multiple universes, one in the US, one in the EU, one in Asia. Also because Fractured is an action RPG, right? The combat of Fractured, and you have to aim your arrows, you have to aim all your shots, and so on. I think the game is pretty damn well playable from the EU to the US. Maybe from Australia to the US, then it's a different story, right? From China, from South Korea, from Japan to the US, it's a different story. So we definitely have to get something regional there going.
Now, along again, points of interest was brought up, so I would like to follow up with this. Blitz, great question. Right now, how it's posed is kind of a funny question, but I'm going to say it as he wrote it to honor what he wrote. Not allowing fast travel to key points in the map will discourage family people from playing the game. And his concern is, it's discouraging people because of the amount of time running from point to point. Example, coming from the Starter City to the Veil of Shadows is probably a solid 35-minute run. If you're lucky enough to have a brick in your hand, It could take 4 to 5 hours. Shout out.
That's what you should, yeah, that's what you shouldn't do, unless you're Jackie Ace. But yeah.
He says, how are you guys going to address this with people that have limited game time?
Well, consider that, as I said, the issue here is that we don't have player cities. So you're not really, aside from the fact that we're missing also mounts, which are going to be pretty relevant. I mean, they could raise your speed 50%, 100%. So they're going to matter a lot. But aside from the mounts, the thing is, you're not really meant to go back and forth all the time between your place and a place that's very far. If you're looking to gaining the ability of a specific creature, right? Clearing an area, getting knowledge points, or whatever you want to do in a certain area that is not gathering items. You're meant to sleep at a tavern in the closest town, and there's going to be one town right out of the Veil of Shadows. There's going to be one town close to any point of interest in the game, and that's with the bank, of course, like the starting area, and that's where you're really like meant to go. Right now, people have to go back and forth between their place and the other place, and it takes forever, and it's super annoying. That I can imagine. But with cities and with bounds, it's going to be a lot better. And one reason the more to focus on cities now, which is what we're doing.
Okay, so from my understanding, to help the super nerds out, very similar to a D&D campaign, you meet at the tavern or the local tavern or where you're at, you get your mission or you get your idea of gameplay for that day, you head out, you go back, and then when you're done, you make that travel back to home, in essence. So your home isn't necessarily your place of business, it's actually the towns that are there, is my understanding, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's actually pretty cool concept. Another good one, I actually can't say his name. We're going to go Demonico. Can't pronounce your first name because that's just not nice. He has proper trading / money, because right now we're trading with the house chests, but will there be proper?
Yes.
Again, that's a player.
There will be. Yes,
that's what I figured.
We're working on it.
I don't know if we.
Well, I don't know if we'll manage to deliver it during this test, but maybe we will. Okay, because it's as I said, we're working on currency. We're working on player trading. We're doing it right now, so it's coming very soon. And by currency, I mean in-game currency, right? The one that you can loot from the few creatures that have it, not all of them.
So I'm not going to be able to pull 5 gold out of a rat?
No.
Oh, darn. Some more realism there. That's good. DIG, I said, previously in games like UO, GMs were a vital component to the game, and they were active in the story and lore and were parts of historical moments in the game. Are you planning on allowing GMs to do similar things? And if so, can I be hired?
Well, that's maybe we should talk first. It's hard to reply to that question. But game masters, yes, we're planning to have game masters with more powers. We actually wanted to have them earlier, but we didn't manage to find the time to develop all the admin powers that you need to be a questing game master, right? Okay. So right now, game masters are just moderators, right? You can kick players, mute players, ban players.
Summon 4,000 rabbits on players.
And also make players carry stones. Yes, they can do all the stuff. Okay. But we're going to have powers, like proper powers for game masters and game masters led events. Of course, that also requires a bit more content than what we have now, because the number of creatures that we have now, the number of items you can collect, it's still too limited to be able to come up with meaningful quests. I mean, there's there's the evil goblin lord that wants to conquer something, but there's a limit to the amount of time you can have that stuff going, you know.
And that's more fluff and quality of life anyways, right? I mean, so going on how you're testing, that's not necessarily the fundamentals. I mean, questing itself could be, which you already have implemented with the new player. So you've already proved concept where your menu can go on and off the screen. You've proven that, it checks off the checklist for said quest, which is really nice to see. Immaculate Deception asks, will there be any effort made to improve performance so that camera perspective for the game can be drawn back to show more or zoom in? Well, you zoom in really good now, but are you looking to go a farther perspective out, or are you going to stay very similar?
That's the camera should be good as it is now. We don't want to go. I mean, it's already sort of a middle ground between a classical action RPG like Diablo, Path of Exile, which is usually more zoomed in,
Right.
and a game like Albion Online, for example, where it's very zoomed out now. It used to be not so zoomed out, but now it is. We're sort of a middle ground. We're pretty happy with that.
Okay.
If we give the possibility to zoom out, it should become the new standard, right? But we're pretty happy of where we are right now. Also, there hasn't been much feedback from people asking to see more right now. Though, of course, there is the issue with the fact that you can see a little bit more on top of your character instead of below your character. But that's just the way it is in an action RPG and
Right.
in an isometric game in general, where you cannot rotate the camera.
Okay. And we talked about that last AMA. You know, I mean, truth be told, is I at first I came from a school of thinking if I want to be able to do a 360 rotation, and you know, there's a lot of talk about point and click. Is there an auto run? I've never seen an auto run in a point and click game, so that was a new kind of odd question. But I think functionality or core functionality that you have with the left click, because a lot of people have issues with understanding left click is you can fire a weapon, but if the mob moves, you'll walk forward. Whereas right click is solely to fire only. Very similar to functionalities inside of Windows. Left click is to click and select, whereas right click is options, right?
Well, I would say more than Windows, I would say Diablo, Path of Exile, Torchlight, action RPGs in general, yes. But we're going to add a little bit more of controls in a little more options in the controls menu, which right now is just a blank page. And you're going to have the option to move, interact to the right mouse button. So interact with the tree, for example, or with the resource. And we're also going to allow you to press the space bar to force the combat mode on and force it off. Because right now it's automatic, right? When you get attacked by a creature, you can no longer interact with items. But some players are fine with it, but many other players are still complaining that sometimes you want to loot the creatures and you're not able because you have creatures attacking you, and so they toggle on the combat mode. On the other hand, sometimes if you're casting abilities, you're just entering the combat. The combat mode is not on yet, and so you accidentally click on the resource. So we're going to allow you to toggle manual combat mode in the options, and then switch it on and off with the space bar. So
very similar to Ultima Online.
Yeah, the pros will be happy.
Yeah, so we like that.
They don't click on stuff accidentally.
So what's really good is this leads us right into a direct question with the vacant seas of certain menus. So it's a two-part question. First one, many people have asked, will we be able to rebind everything? I.e., we had the QWERT. Can we rebind that? Because from all hands.
You'll be able to eventually, sure.
Okay, and then also there is, I know that you mentioned to me, it's like, why is your screen so dark on the game? Will you have in-game gamma reduction or gain?
Yeah, we need to add that too eventually to the graphics options. I know, and I know that in person because in my laptop, which is my second gaming PC, which has a way stronger gamma, it's very different from all my other screens. The game has a little. The gamma settings are a little too high on this machine. They're perfect on the other machines, but a little too high on this one. So we definitely need to add the option to lower or raise. I mean, I don't think many people would want to raise it, but maybe some do. But certainly lower the gamma. Something
else that's a little not necessarily about functionality, but more about gameplay. Matos93 said actually was pretty good, because I know a lot of people are going to go into game and not really truly understand the functionality of what the stats do. Very few games in time have done anything for us to say, hey, int does this, or so we're programmed not to look at that when we're creating characters. Just go for basic. The mid-maxers, the hardcore ones, as we like to say, will you have the ability at some point in time to do a reset? Whether it be you find an item or you do a quest for it or you purchase it, or are we stuck forever?
No, there's going to be at least one free reset that unlocks, and probably we're going to give that to new players, and it's going to last forever, right? It's just the idea right now is to give one free complete attribute reset to everybody. If you which makes sense, right? You're a new player, you just go for the standard character, then you figure out that you don't really care about charisma and you just want to fight, period, and you don't want to, you want to lower this to 6 and the other one to 15 and so on. You get one free reset to do it.
Okay, that's awesome.
Or maybe you progress with the player and with the character and decide that you want to change it completely. Maybe we're going to time that reset. I don't know if we're going to make it say permanent, or just allow people to use it in the first 2 weeks of gameplay. Maybe we'll see, but that's when it's needed. After that, there's going to be an option to purchase an attribute reset in the store.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah. There's going to be, although it's possible that also that one will be limited, not the amount you can purchase, but the amount you can use. So you're not going to be able to use attribute resets on the same character too frequently. There's going to be a cooldown after you've used one, because we don't want to give people the option to change the character continuously by just spending money, and because every time there is a new, say this week there is this flavor, and then in 2 days you have to do that, and then in 4 days you have to do that, and then you keep re-rolling your characters, because that would be a little too much pay to win.
Right.
Not so much, but maybe still too much.
Could be abused at least.
Yeah, could be abused. Yes.
Okay.
So there's going to be a cooldown after a reset.
Now, a really good question came in actually, which I didn't even think about it until right now. Of all the things that I've gone and researched, PD Cavalier asks, will you be able to choose the start spawn / towns for different races? And if so, how many do you plan to have on each planet?
Starting town.
Yep.
It's very hard to tell. We plan to have at least 2 on Mir.
Okay.
And other continents are going to be pretty much the same in size, maybe a little less, because the size of this one is giving us a couple problems. That's the idea. So there's going to be at least a couple of starting areas in each planet, but they could also become 3. It also depends on how many people. Like if the game makes a massive boom, and when we get this massive influx of new players to a point where when we open a testing phase, there's thousands of people logging in one evening, and then we're going to need more starting areas. So they could be 3, they could be 4. Right now, certainly we're going to add another one, which means there are going to be at least 6 different starting areas on a planet, but it's very likely there's going to be more than 6.
Okay, that's really good to hear. Now, to build on that, maybe a secondary question now that it's got my mind in that direction. One of the things that I loved about Shadowbane was one, for instance, right? You were always strategic with the mine battles and stuff. So you wanted to have a house that you built up in that area. Along the lines of starting towns and or player ran towns, are there going to be reasons, instead of just saying it's here and I want it because it's a beautiful waterfall, will there be strategic reasons to only spawn only certain areas, which will also help with influx of PvP or battling areas? So example, I have a hamlet where I'm next to one of 6 spawns on the big map of iron ore. Is there any kind of thing built in or thought about that?
Yeah, sure. That's going to be the key of, as I said before, the whole political side of Fracture. A lot is going to revolve around that. Who has access to what resources? And it's not only iron, right? It's different kind of metals, different kinds of stone. Some things for PvP are super important. Some others are more important for cosmetic reasons, right? For example, a marble mine, a marble cave. Sorry. So you get. Oh,
You're
what is
here.
happening?
You're
Yeah,
good.
but it's the whole screen went black.
Oh no.
And now it's back. Okay.
I saw this color change and your eyes changed. No, you're totally fine.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. I was afraid that the PC just turned off, but instead it just decided to go. Well,
Go to
okay.
sleep, right? Okay.
Yeah. Go to. Yeah. Oh yeah. Maybe it went to sleep. Yeah. Maybe it was just that.
I actually have 3 computers going right now, and they're all. I'm logging back into all of them because I'm not paying too much attention to each one. So
I'll remember to move the mouse as much as possible. But yeah. So as I was saying, it's going to be really relevant. That's
okay,
going to
that's
be
fantastic.
very important. And as I said, resources are going to be very regionalized. And one very important thing to add here: all these resources are going to be heavy materials, right? You have to move them with carts. You have to move them by hand, and so on. And you have to process them into crafted items by putting them first in a warehouse in town, and then the advanced crafting stations use the heavy materials from the warehouse. So, for example, right now, where you craft a bow, you get branches, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can just load yourself with branches, not too many because there is a weight limit, but still, you can get a sizable amount of branches and just craft those bows. But those bows are primitive. To craft the proper advanced bows, you're going to need the logs. And so you're going to have to take the logs, store them in the warehouse, which is in the kind of building you have to build in a town, store them there, and then the crafting station are going to take the materials from there. So it's not possible to, for somebody who lives 2 kilometers away from a forest with a specific kind of wood to get that wood to his city. It's impossible, right? It would take 2 hours to do that. So only the people of that city are going to be able to collect that resource and process it and create that specific kind of bow and sell it to other people. So yes, it's going to be super important, and we have this heavy materials thing and this design that allows us to make it happen for real and make it really relevant.
Oh, that's so cool.
Also going to be plus there's also going to be territory control, so conquering mines and having only one city able to actually get their hands on it and harvest it and so on. So there's going to be a lot of that stuff, and it's going to be super fun. We can't wait to have that going.
Now it's kind of funny because I can tell who reads a lot on the webpage, and I can tell we have consumers of just like a stream, or like YouTube, and that's fine. Not everyone reads past news dev updates and stuff because they're like, oh, it must be irrelevant. But there are a couple things that I want to touch base on. Tam Madurim said, are there going to be life skills like fishing, which I know we have because you guys hit your mark. So are there any other things? I saw we're going to have Tamer. I know a lot of people are really scared about how Tamers play a role in PvP. Usually they're overpowered or underpowered. There's no real equal median there. So I guess my true question would be is, aside from the fishing life skills and the sorts, where do you see the expansion on life skills as far as bringing quality of life? They would be mini games, but like farming. Like I saw that you guys had that cool farm in the new city with all the wheat. I immediately was excited. I was like, "Oh my god, this means farms!" Yes, but what do you guys have with cooking and stuff like that? What's your path of? Obviously, it's not a huge core fundamental thing. It would be like food that would help. But because you have satiation in already, do you foresee growing of certain crops and trading in certain crops from different regions of the world or other planets? What's your idea there?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, as I said, this is not the biggest focus right now because we need to get cities first, right? For now, it would be just growing stuff in your own plot, in your own land claim, which is not perfect. But there's going to be farming that I mean, you've seen the fields, and I mean, we're a sandbox game. How can you make a sandbox game without farming?
Right,
So
that's true.
that's
true. Yep.
And plus people love it. I like it too a lot. It's very relaxing. It's very good to always have something to come back to collect and so on. There's a lot of positive things and good reasons to have farming. So there's going to be that. There's going to be alchemy. that's going to make a
Ooh.
use of a lot of the items that you craft. So making potions, right?
The
Defensive
remedies.
potions. Yes, the remedies, but also the offensive potions and so on.
Okay.
And there's also going to be cooking, and there's also going to be a diet and the way your character is more or less performant according to his diet. So he has to get always follow a balanced diet to actually be top performant. This is going to be relevant for the PvP players, because right now you can usually just eat meat, or you can just eat mushrooms, and
Right.
it's all good.
Right.
But it's not going to be like that in the future. As I said, this stuff is nice. It's not super core, so it's definitely coming after player cities and so on.
Correct. Okay.
But it's coming.
Okay.
Actually, farming is also coming to sustain player cities, because player cities are also going to have a cost, not only in currency to be maintained, but also in food. So you're going to have to grow food in the city to maintain it, and dedicate part of the city to some kind of cultivations, which is very likely going to be wheat, because that's just also how it works in real life. Like you
Right.
can make a lot of stuff with wheat, but if it's not the right planet and the right temperature to grow that, other type of food. So food is going to play a big role both in the economy and also in some of the more advanced system that we're going to have later. I will
Cool.
just try to keep it brief, because there would be a lot to say, but we've already been going for way more than 1 hour, so I'll try to keep it brief.
Oh goodness! Oh my God! I can't believe that. Okay, so we'll kind of start to wrap it up here, because I know some guys want to see some gameplay and some fun stuff, and have you kill me a bunch of times with a bunch of monsters like we do all the time. But I know the biggest thing coming up next is truly going to be circled around player cities. So there's two questions that were very, very good. I know that I'm not going to be able to get to all your guys' questions. We have so many, but this one's gone a lot easier and a lot better since the last AMA. So we are improving on that in the process. But one is, if you can talk to the range of crops quickly. Are we talking like, is it going to matter regionally? Can I grow hot climate stuff anywhere, or is that going to matter? And then also, two player cities. I know you talked about warehouses. Are there other specialized buildings that may contribute to a success of player-run cities, and what would they be?
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be weather, not only in terms of so there's going to be several different factors, right? The planet, right? You know that Tartarus is really hot, for example, right? It's multi-desertic. There's going to be the continent within a planet. There's going to be the season you're in, and the altitude you're in. So there's going to be a lot of factors influencing temperature, right?
Okay.
As it's going to be pretty realistic, and it's not particularly hard to implement. The height, the higher you go, the lower the average temperature is. You already see that there is already temperature meter in the game, top right corner. You don't give a damn because it does nothing so far, but it does.
But it's there.
But it's there, right?
Yeah.
It's there, and it goes up and down day and night and so on.
Okay.
And we're going to make it matter, and not only for single players when traveling, but also for player cities and cultivations.
Okay.
Yes. So as I said, not coming right now, but it's definitely coming this year.
So to recap on basically the form functionality of what we've seen and heard so far, just to see if I've gotten this correct, and also a couple people have joined in since. So we're looking at, as far as systems go, we have an economy system with money. We've got a political system, of course, and that's going to be a magnitude of things. Obviously, with your housing, with wars over resources and so forth. We'll have a farming economy, which obviously plays into the political at times, I would assume. We also have PvP, which is going to be its own system. And then on top of all that, we're going to have a lifestyle system, and also, correct?
You mean related to diet and
diets and satiation and so forth. So I mean, there's quite a few systems at play here. Do you have any other systems that we haven't spoke about at all, or possibly thinking about?
No. That's the thing. I mean, we haven't. I know that we've been. That there's been a time where we dropped a lot of a lot, not a lot, but a few of those feature spotlight. We would like to start doing that again. I just didn't have time. I was the one writing them, and I didn't have time to write more of them.
Okay.
But I really want to find the time to drop one or two about player cities, because we have revised our design a little from how it was in the Kickstarter, not so much, but there's a lot of a few different things, a few better things, I hope, and the design is very well fleshed out, and we are working on it right now.
Okay.
So I guess it would be nice if we could let everybody know of how the whole city system is going to be, from the way you claim it, to the way you manage it as a governor, to the way you can declare war on other cities, to the way you can control hotspots in the territory, and so I hope that I will be able to find the time to drop one of those massive, lengthy feature spotlights and send it to everybody with a newsletter and a blog post.
And finally, there's one selfish question I have to ask, because I'm not a grammar Nazi, but I have to ask. Why did we go from marksmanship to hunting?
Oh God, again. Oh.
I'm just curious. I mean, I get it. We've talked about it. We did it on the board, and I got a good lengthy discussion going. But from you, why?
Look. In my opinion, that skill should be called ranging. What do you like? Do you like it?
Ranging's good, because I'm looking from a perspective of like what it's doing, right? I mean, marksmanship could be a gun if you ever put guns in, or and I mean, I get why they said hunting, but hunting comes off to me like I'm going to go out and hunt to get food for satiation, right? Whereas marksmanship is the act of doing something as a skill. So I saw that, and that was the only thing that stuck out to me. Was like, is it because he's Italian?
I'll bring your concerns to our game designer and petition him to rename the skill from hunting to ranging.
Ranging's I like, and we'll back you on that. I don't mind. And
then we'll see what happens in the next patch.
Perfect. And then finally, there was mention of keys. I have been bombarded with DMs. I have been bombarded with all the sorts. There's the cool thing that you do with spreading the word. And I think that's really fantastic, because word of mouth can make or break a game. And a community, if it backs you, it's going to back you through some tough times, some bad times, some weird decisions, like saying hunting. But they'll still stick with you because it's important. What's your plan? Like how today, obviously you said there'd be some keys. And if that's great, perfect. If not, there's ways to do that. You want to go over that real quick with the people we have, so they understand how they can get keys if they can't afford it, or just too lazy to use their card, or have a bill to pay, or whatever the case is?
Well, so first of all, I would like to tell everybody that you always have the option, right, to pledge to a smaller amount now, so the starting pack, and then upgrade whenever you feel like. So upgrading, some people don't know because they never bought the pack, but you can upgrade your founder pack. So that's so you can also do things in step. If you don't want to pledge, or you're not able to pledge, you can get. There's various ways to get a key. There's always spread the word contest, so to say, active on the forums. So you go in a community that you're part of. Could be your guild in another game. Could be a forum that you're active in, a subreddit that you're active in. That's of course related to MMOs or gaming in general. You tell people about Fractured. Don't spam it. Don't spam your ref link. Don't just drop 2 lines, copy paste, whatever. Make something that is personal, and tell other people about the game in a convincing way, and you get a key. Typically those are keys that are only allowed to play during one testing phase, but one testing phase can last for 1 month, so it's not so little. Then there's always the option to, we sometimes give keys to content creators, like we're doing today. So we're giving keys to access this alpha test. Other content creators also have a few keys each to give away. So if you follow content creators that cover Fracture, they're going to have also that possibility to get a key. Again, those are keys that don't grant permanent access, but at least they grant access to one testing phase, which I guess is going to make many people happy anyway.
Correct.
And the other option is, if you are an influencer yourself, with at least 1,000 followers on a Twitch channel, or 2,000 followers on a YouTube channel, you can apply on influencers.fracturedmmo.com, You're going to get a key, permanent key for yourself,
Yep.
and you're going to get a link for revenue sharing, discount codes. You're going to get a lot of stuff if you make content about the game. So there's also that option.
Fantastic. I think that
In
really
terms
helps
of like
people.
getting permanent access to the game without pledging, it's not possible right now.
Right. Right. And that's fair, I think. One of the things that I like that you do is, on the back end of every test so far that I've seen in alpha that I've been part of, you kind of open it up to the public. And it's great because it also helps you get data too. And one thing I've asked, and I've talked with people who have full keys and the 300 pack or the 200 pack or whatever pack they have, they don't feel like, oh my gosh, it's not just for me, but it's nice that they know, hey, it's good to have extra flux of people and we can find more bugs or help facilitate a need that, say, the normal people who log in every test happens.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly going to be another open playtest. It's not going to be soon because we just run one. I mean, we know things are stable, so we don't need to stress test the servers again. Plus, we would have to create at least another starting area, and
Right.
and implement currency so that you cannot claim a piece of land right away, but you have to grind a little before you can do that.
Right.
Oh no, I said the word grind.
Play a
Spend
lot.
some time, spend a little of time before you can claim your own piece of land.
Right.
But yeah, so there's going to be a few things we have to do before we can run another open playtest. So there's going to be a while before that comes. We might have a playtest for all backers before that. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, but that allows people with a 25 euros pledge, the smallest one, to play the game.
Oh, that'd be cool.
For 1-2 weeks, we are considering also that option. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
And
If it happens, you'll know.
And then I appreciate that, and I'll get that out like we all do. Also, one last question before we get into the fun stuff and show some gameplay real quick. And I don't know how much time you have. I know it's kind of late there, but
it's 8:30, but I have a little bit of time.
All right, cool. And I don't want to make the wife upset. Happy wife, happy life. So I get that.
I have a homemade pizza waiting.
Oh, you can eat live if you'd like. We can take you off screen and we can just have some fun in voice if you choose. I eat all the time on stream.
No. I'm going to turn on the oven once we're done.
Nice. Okay, so real quick, this will be the final question. It's from Khalith. She did have a question that during these tests, the people who, we spend a lot of time in game. Aside from what we do consume so quickly, what is your long-term concerns in the gameplay? Being an MMO, or sandbox MMO, a lot of people still forget that you, the people, make a lot of the content up. You guys give a solid backbone, but yet we should have player run events, or we do the sieges and so forth. Do you plan on having the GMs or guides take roles into that to help kind of flush out some ideas that some people don't feel they have the confidence to put on?
I didn't get exactly the question though this time.
So that's okay. So example, like a concern that we find in alpha, and we know because of the content that's there, we get in and the hardcore guys and girls are done in within a day and a half, 2 days, because we just play it like nuts. But when we go live, say beta, when we're doing quality of life, or we go live, full launch, I know you're going to have constant improvements. I mean, you make improvements in beta so quickly, and alpha. It's alpha so quickly now. What are your plans for content long term to keep us engaged?
Yeah, okay. Now I got the question. Okay, yep. So this is the reason why we're focusing on cities right now. Is that if we spend the next 2 months working on other points of interest, right, we can drop more of the Veil of Shadows and maybe another point of interest there and so on. And the most experienced players are going to eat through it very, very quickly. Right. But player cities get to create so much emergent gameplay that they can keep you busy for a very, very, very long time, even if we don't add more content to them. Right. So the whole fact that you have to maintain your city and you have to maintain your territory against other players, it's going to make the game potentially, playable forever, right? Even without adding new content. Of course, we're going to keep adding new abilities, keep adding new areas. We have the asteroids as events with high level content. We're going to drop events, patches, contents. We're not planning to add more races and stuff like that, but a new sub race for demons, a new sub race for beastmen. Why not? So there's a lot of options in terms of content that we can do, but
Right.
we are a small team,
Right.
so our best bet is to focus on emergent gameplay and give people the tools to
Right.
keep themselves entertained, even if we are not putting out new abilities, new items, and so on. And the cities and PvP are going to serve and that role pretty well.
All
I
right,
think.
fantastic. I think that's a great answer, and I appreciate the honesty there. I think, always reminding people of the team and the size and team which you are and what you've accomplished is actually really a feat. So I know that whenever you bring it up, we're a small team. I mean, truth be told, you're a small team with a great vision, and I'd rather have take a couple months more to get something done than have 30 people and close up with $8 million and you've got nothing, right?
Thank you. You're always too good.
Well, I mean, but it's the truth, though. I mean, I've played enough games in the world. I mean, if you actually look at the team that made Ultima Online in the very first beta, I mean, it was a team of 5 or 6, and what they were able to put out in C+, I believe, god-awful programming, they were able to do that, right? And then they got the backing and stuff, but that comes when the vision's fleshed out and fully fledged. And I think, we've got anywhere between 100 to 75 people here talking or asking questions and here to hear what you have to say. It just goes to show you what numbers can do, and never underestimate what you guys do. Whenever
I told you for the team size that we have, I'm
phenomenal.
super happy of how we've been going. Phenomenal is too much, but happy is.
All right, you guys are great. Yeah, no. Well, let's do some content. I know one of my good friends who I've become a streamer partner with lately. She's been heavily involved. You met her in person, Khaled. So she's been adventuring around looking for points of interest. So I don't know if you can teleport. Can you teleport? I don't think I've been teleported before.
Logging in the game, you mean?
So I think I'm in probably dying of starvation. So I'm going to move the screen around, guys. We're going to move to the gameplay. Oh, and while we're making the adjustment and I'm switching screens around, quite a few people have asked if you could go into a brief description of how you guys are doing. How's the morale? Is family safe? Are you safe? Because I know you and I talk, but they don't really know what's going on. Can you help them with that, with where you're at?
Oh yeah, we're fine. We're definitely fine. The whole team is healthy. As I said before, we're working from home also pretty frequently during normal development. So it's we're well equipped, well ready. Everybody's working productively from home as always.
Okay.
So coronavirus didn't really have any impact on the development of Fractured, and right now things are going to get better in Italy because right now we are all in lockdown and so on. The number of new cases are slowing down. I mean, it was going to take a lot of time, but it's happening. Right. So we are not. Plus, we're all young. If you want, that's also a good thing, right?
It's a very good thing.
So yeah, it's a very good thing in this specific moment. So well, I guess it's a good thing in general, but it's in this moment it's even more. Beautiful. So yeah, we're good. We're good. Thanks for asking.
Oh, well, my pleasure. And that from Miss Flume. So it's funny. The crew has made their way over to my house. And one thing I love with the new housing that you decided to drop on us is you can fit 3 separate housings on the what would you call that? The plot, which is great. So that's kind of neat.
Yeah, but we also have way more houses coming. We just didn't have the time to. The art is all done. We just need the implementation. That's the problem. So we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 houses. I don't know, several, maybe 10.
Wow!
Wow!
I saw
a
the
lot.
stone.
Yes.
The stone looks cool. I saw it in town. So that was really nice. So that's really good. So I'm going to pick you up. I'm going to move the display over here real quick and pop you in to the chat over here, over top of the chat to the left hand side. So bear with me 1 second here.
Okay.
And guys, if you missed a lot of this, I will be downloading and uploading this into stream.
What have you done in here?
I've done quite a bit.
What is this? What is this?
They used
log horror.
They've used log to make a question mark for the AMA.
It's a question mark.
Yes.
Oh, now I see that now, but it was missing. It's missing 1 log.
That's hilarious.
Compliments, nice. Real artist. We definitely have to fix the
wood
teleport. No, the relocate. You see characters going back and forth if it's other people casting it.
Oh yeah, yeah. But that's not bad though, and he does it because it scares the crap out of me. All right. So what we've done.
Somebody needs to take a screenshot of this. It can be me. It can be someone else.
You guys grab that
the question
screenshot. It's
mark I
great.
missed. Yeah. We have to produce a trailer for the game, like a proper one,
nice.
this week. So I might steal some of your footage if you.
You are absolutely welcome to. I'll download it
yeah.
and give you rights to it. You'll be fine. So I wanted to show everybody here. This is something new because we're gonna get some gameplay. So guys and girls, I cannot see anything inside of chat, so do bear with me because I've got only 4 monitors going and not 5.
So other people want to, if other people want to be brought here, they just write it in the global chat in the game, and I will bring them.
Oh, fantastic. So if you guys are in game right now, just key up in global chat and he'll be able to teleport you here. And all the, oh, here's Spectre, the murderer of bunnies. Such funniness. So I think Kiwi does. We'll stick to Kiwi's last part of Kiwi's name.
Yeah. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people here right now? Yeah. 8.
Most don't know where I'm at. I can bring the map up real quick.
Yeah, but I can just port them as it's easier.
Just want to bring up chat over here on the left-hand side, guys, just in case you have some questions and stuff, so bear with me here. Fantastic. Pause that so we can check. Good. All right, there we go. So I got you guys up.
So we can do some PvE challenge and some PvP challenge. Why not?
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, I love the new staff. Staff's really good. Did I not take it out of my bin? I did, and I was buffing it up here. It's actually funny. I was debating on writing hello, but it took a lot of logs to do that. So we'll grab that out of there. I was playing with some of that fun stuff. Now, something I noticed, and I don't know if it's intended, with the new staff, you walk very upright.
No, it's the animation is terrible.
So we'll take that off.
Yeah, it's going to be changed eventually.
So
we are a little short on animations right now.
No, that's okay. That's okay. It doesn't look too bad. So we got bows. So I love the new ricochet. I think that's a fantastic new additive. I got to show everyone how proud I am of all the grinding we've done. Almost everything is at 100%. It's ridiculous.
So rest, prepare your skills.
All right, let's get the skills on. Oh, and guys, and one thing that I want to show and point out here, and it's not just because he's here, you know, he does hang out in all the streamers and he checks out the content. He's very, very active. And one of the things that he's fixed just recently that wasn't an issue for us and actually made it really simple for us to find out where everyone went is you can see on Kelith here, there's this runic kind of awesome spell effect that's happening on her for anti-poison that would leave little pots, like almost breadcrumbs where you ran. And, you know, it was really cool to see within 10 seconds, it was rectified and fixed. You know, he was like, hey, I noticed that. And then it was fixed. So very active in fixing things during alpha testing. So if you guys see anything that could be bugs, best thing to do is when you go and report them, there is a space to report them. If you can get a screenshot, if it's screenshot worthy, or if there's a screenshot slash a discovery on how you found it and what you were doing, because all that does really make a difference in the end of the day. So always think about that. It's really important. All right, I got to rest over here at the old house.
Okay, so let's make an arena. Come on. Let's get this question mark, and let's make an arena. Maybe let's make it. Let's see. What there is at least 1 tree, something like
4x4.
Yeah, no. It's just something to make things, to give some blockers. It's better if you have something obstructing the view. Sometimes it makes it a little bit more challenging. So is there any trees still standing?
No, we killed all the trees down.
Destroyers of the environment.
We have just decapitated everything that was important to Mother Nature.
Well, then no trees. Just let's do it on an empty field here around here.
Yeah, I would probably put one here to stay behind.
Yeah. Okay, so we can let's build it here. Yeah, why not?
What we'll do is whoever's not in the battle, we can have them hit Earthquake, and at the end of Earthquake, we can then do the attack, similar to Flame Wall back in the day. So it's kind of like timed based upon what you see.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe that, or maybe we do something else. We can also do. Yeah, I think that okay, so we're building it this way, right? Okay, okay. So fine. So it's fine. Okay, I think it's long enough. I think it's long enough.
Make it stay
In the
inside.
side, we can start closing it, Kralit. No. It's like this. Whoop.
You don't want to.
It's long enough at this point. Yeah. I think we are stepping on each other's feet here, trying to drop the items.
Very nice. Very nice. Oh, I didn't pick it up. Someone stole
Spectre,
my...
if you're listening, probably you can also bring people here.
I would start summoning people in. Very cool.
So we can do a PvE thing, but also a PvP thing, right? So we can have
the great summoning of 2020. Things get squirrely when people start summoning things. Oh, for the first time in Alpha, I filled out all of my Goblin, 100%.
Wow. Good.
Yep, that was really cool to see that.
Surprised you haven't done that before.
Well, it's funny because we always get like we summon a couple of them and it's like, oh great, we got it, and then all of a sudden there's elementals.
So who's the owner of the flashing beam and the campfire? Remove them. I guess we can take them away. They're just going to be annoying. Owner of the campfire. Otherwise, I will do that. With my mystical spatialized powers.
I love how that works. The spatialized.
Okay. Yeah, it's really cool. Wish more people used it. So remove the flashing beam. Otherwise, I will do it. Because in game I cannot actually do that. I need to.
Oh, come out.
Well, I guess.
I don't know whose it is.
I'm in the game. It's fine. I just. I'm just going to remove it.
Should probably eat. That's good.
And it goes. And it didn't go. What the hell did I do? I hope I didn't delete a player.
Whoops, sorry.
Because that actually is...
Is that possible?
Yeah, and it's actually pretty dramatic if I do that for several reasons. So I hope I didn't not steal 10 players. Well, I don't know what I deleted then.
That's fantastic.
It seems everything is still okay. So there's also a direwolf here that I don't like. And also, well, let's leave the stump here. It's going to grow back. I'm respectful of the environment. So, okay, I guess everybody's here. Oh, Gay Kiwi. Okay.
I know, such a great name.
Yeah.
Good part is that they do come over, they can always go and, oh, Gandalf made it. Nice. Hey, Pedro. Amsimi is looking to go too, I think.
Okay, so we can have...
Oh, I don't even know. This is going to kill my stream. We're going to have like 5 million bunnies if it's up to Vector.
Okay, so one very important rule: no earthquakes and no totems, because otherwise you're going to make the recording way too messy, way too way too heavy. Also, we also need to optimize the totems a bit. They're a bit too heavy on FPS right now, so please. Yeah, the fireplace is there.
Okay.
Place is to the left. 2 rules.
No earthquake. Oh, that's part of my deal.
No earthquake. Yeah, come on, it's too easy. No earthquake, no totems.
All right, let me buy some skills here. Gonna need those. Just in case. So we'll get rid of earthquake. Is that 2? Keep that. Trying to think of what I want to run now that I can't use the single one that I wanted to use. You know what? We're gonna load that. I'll try that in the mix of things here.
Full stun with totem. Yeah, no, not full stun. Come on, let's be fair.
Full stun's fun.
No, not so much. I think not.
Backup. Okay.
My girlfriend is looking at me
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
with a menacing face,
Uh-oh.
which I think we need to wrap it up after the arena.
After the arena, we'll wrap it up. We don't want you in trouble. Kind of getting you grounded from developing is a bad thing. Time out.
Okay, so are you ready? Everybody get in the arena. Come on, inside.
Everyone's scared. Look at them all. They're like, I don't know. I know what Spectre's done to us in the past. What do I do?
Okay, so in.
Actually, you know what we can do? For this part right here, I will 86 you and I. That way, if there's any content you want to pull, it's of actual content, not just me and you goofing off. So let me do that real quick. Not that we're goofing off, but, you know, nonetheless. Display. Hide you. I will hide me. I'm not that pretty anyways. Here we go.
Okay. Time to get in. Come on, come on.
Beautiful.
Okay, get ready. Okay.
Oh.
Come on, come on, pod. I think I can record too. I mean, now I have a decent rig. I can actually. Let me pull this up. So, it's pretty. But it's actually even better if you record it, right? Because you're going to.
Yep.
I'm going to annoy everybody if I record it, but.
Yep.
I will do it. I will do it too. So let me close the special OS thingy. Okay. So get ready. Get in. Choose a side / corner.
Right, I got it recorded to the PC too, so it'll be good. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm terrified now.
Toggle on PvP by pressing P. Okay.
Oh, it's all of us. This is gonna be great. Where is
Okay,
Spectre
so
at? I owe Spectre a favor.
Spectre should be out, not in, I guess. Okay, well, you look ready, so no, don't start thing.
Go,
I didn't say start.
Oh my god, who you savages? You just
What are they doing?
They started. It's on.
Yeah, come on.
Bloodthirsty. Hey, wait, let everyone know.
You're going to get kicked out from the arena, huh? Insubordinate. One penalty point to one Simi, Vortek, and Geiki. We are no penalty point for what, but it's definitely one penalty.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Okay.
Oh, that's good. I love that look. That's so good. All right,
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay, so I'm going to count down to 3, 2, 1. So it's going to be the easiest thing to do. So global. So it's 3, 2, 1. Rubble. Hey, come on, whatever.
Oh, first down! I don't have any band-aids. Make us proud, Shiv. I love that spell. That effect is so sick. Uh-oh, the Germans turn on each other. G. Oh, he silenced me. No.
I'm surprised by how few people turned on protection from fire. Seriously?
No one ever does because you want to go for that quick kill, and I should have had it. I had an open slot. Did Gandalf really win? And take out a direwolf?
Well, yeah. Well, Gandalf, I mean...
That's hilarious. Oh, but that stun, it's so mean. Got Shiv. It's mean.
Oh, somebody brought Word of Power kill, didn't they?
Yep.
Come on, okay, stop it.
Nice.
Now we do the PvE challenge.
Ooh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, you can go at the campfire, you can rest.
Oh, no.
What are they doing? Who spawned all the walls?
Oh, you know who did that. It's
Spectre, yeah.
Spectre's Bunny Killer of 2020. Oh, it's fantastic.
Oh, Spectre is... Yeah, how did I forget that you can use hiding right now? So
That's funny. All right, let's see what...
okay, but Spectre, please stop doing that. Otherwise, it's I need to clean up too much stuff from the specialized console.
Oh, that's right. Do you have to do it individually, or you have to do it by race?
No, I can do something also at the same time, but it's going to take me a little. Damn Spectre! It's not going to be that easy. Wait, let me see if I can do some group. Oh yeah. Oh no, I can do it.
He loves his bunnies. I'm gonna cheat.
Well, look at how the servers are doing.
No lag at all. No hiccups at all during
No
that.
lag at all.
Yep.
Seems like this game has good developers, I'm telling you.
I know a guy.
Okay, so now for the PvE challenge. I need to rest at the fireplace too, which is kind of impossible to get to right now. And I'm going to give myself some invisibility too. Why didn't I think about that before?
That's because you don't make it a normalcy to consistently harass the player base like Spectre does.
True story.
He comes in and all of a sudden there's like 400 bunnies. I was like, oh, Spectre's here. It was
well,
funny.
I mean, he's nice though. I mean, he could have.
We were streaming, man, and he all of a sudden somewhere there's like a big lich spider. I'm like, that's not normal. We're at the Goblin Shami camp. I'm like, that doesn't belong here. And then there was like 400 elementals. It was awesome. He's like, you guys look like you were slowing down a bit. I was like, well, the stream's alive now. Thanks.
Okay, so I'm getting ready to now, and I'm going to spawn.
Ooh, make it a surprise.
Yeah, I'm going to spawn some fun stuff.
Uh-oh. Oh, I wonder how many of them seen goblins.
Fantastic. I chose the ability Shadow Step instead of... wrong shadow. This time I'm going to take all the shadow spells.
It's so funny.
So
Everyone here is basically a mage.
Yeah, and the game might be a little imbalanced now, huh?
Just a little bit. Jim
Yeah,
always
but you see,
goes.
as soon as you get
tank.
blacksmithing, you'll see.
Oh, can't wait for that stuff.
Yeah, and my character apparently decided to keep standing up by itself.
Now, I know that when we did our mini AMA this week, you brought something up that was really cool, how going into regions will give you knowledge too. Are you guys going to go a little deeper with that, with basically everything? So,
Come again? I missed you.
That's okay.
The audio went away for a couple seconds.
Nope, you're good. So I know going into new areas and territories, you said, will reward you with knowledge points. Is everything you do and touch going to award you knowledge points the first time you see it?
Yeah, most of the time. Most
that's
of the things,
cool.
yes.
That's really cool. Are you going to do servers? If someone goes high on Patreon or something like that, or whatever, modded servers? Yeah. Are you going to, like, you know how LOA, they do servers for the community servers to mod how they like? Do you have any plans? Nope, just you and your own. That's it. Nice, nice.
Yeah.
So you're developing a game, not a platform. That's a good thing to hear.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yes.
Okay. Real quick, guys, chat's asking, this is Alpha 2 Phase 2, just for those that had a question that came up. So, and then, of course, when he goes to have dinner with his beautiful significant other, we'll get a lot deeper, and we'll do some more, we'll continue the questions and answers that I can at least facilitate while he goes and eats and lives his life to the best that he can in lockdown.
And the stage 1 is coming. Oh, yes, it is. So let's see what we do for stage 1. Oh, it's a big classic here. Let's roll.
Yes, I completed my knowledge. I hate spiders. Ugh. Still holding at 61 FPS. That's nice. Rumor has it, I have Earthquake. Stay alive, stay alive. Oh, I completed it. No. Oh, down. No band-aids. Oh, I wish he had the Shadow Dragon to quote-unquote spawn. Oh. I hear you, chat. I'd love to see a Shadow Dragon too. I gotta say, I love and also hate your spider models very much so. I have severe arachnophobia.
No.
They trigger an unwarranted, not happy thing in me.
Okay, then more spiders in the future.
Hurry up and loot when you can! Enchanting mats! It's nice. Now, how do your looting, if you don't mind, how do your looting outrights work? Last hit or group-based or...
It's, you need to deal enough damage, basically.
Okay.
And how much damage it is depends on the... how many people took part in the kill and how much each person did. You basically have to do a percentage of what the person who did the most damage did. There's a whole formula behind it. Yeah.
Yep. So traditional, not last hit, which is nice. Or first hit.
No, last hit.
Very cool.
Okay, so stage 2 is coming, and this one is going to be, well, I guess another big classic, isn't it?
Oh.
Something you've seen.
Oh, not wisps. Oh, God. Oh, nice. Gobbies. Get him? Did we get him? Nice. Oh my God, shadow gobbies. Those are great too.
No. There's no shadow yet.
Fire. Oh, it's gonna hurt. Did nobody do regrowth? Nobody in my team did regrowth? Oh, selfish.
You need to coordinate your team better, it seems.
I know, this is not good. Good, that's good. Anna. We did really well in the one Gobby who does, is it heroism or whatever? He refills his health. Second chance. Remember what it is.
Second wind.
Yeah, second wind. I'm getting there. I had the brightest bulb in the shed. Okay.
Good.
Very nice, guys.
Good. Very good. Very good.
I'm gonna get regrowth, guys.
Yeah, verdant regrowth is not a bad idea in a setting like this. For sure, you're very close. Need help.
That I'm down. Ooh. Save preset.
Okay, so while you rest, of course we have another challenge coming.
Okay.
Power level here is going to be a little higher, I think.
The selfish
At
going
this
is.
time, at this time, I'm going to use a different order, right? Come on, one see me. Hop, hop.
You go for the GM punches you. Wake up! It's time to go kill things.
Yeah, well, I don't have so much time to wait, so I think I'm going to drop them now.
Uh-oh.
All right, here they come. And this time in a different order, in a more clever order than the other time. Starting from
Oh,
here.
damn.
You know, first some tanking, then some good ranged power all around.
7.
Then a couple of those, one here and one there. And at last,
Oh, get up, get up, get up, get up.
the ones that are going to kill you real good. If they don't all aggro me, but
Oh, the dead, the dead. There's not going to be an actual level, correct? It's more or less just skill-based. Someone's like, is there going to be a full level? Or a level cap?
okay.
Nice. Totem of Wildfire.
Ah, so I see many dead though. So it took
Yeah,
it was
I
not
died.
easy, right?
No, I died for sure. I think all of us died at least once. Definitely more difficult.
Yeah, well you get the shadow dancer that
Oh, they are so mean.
yeah. Okay, now we got the last stage and then I need to go.
Alrighty.
Then you know what that is.
Oh no.
Oh hell you do.
Get your stuns ready.
Stuns?
It's gonna
Really?
It's gonna be bad.
Oh yes. Yes he's going to.
Oh no. It's all the big boys. Oh,
Let's get a
God.
couple of tanky guys. And another couple
Oh
of
no.
serious guys.
I like how the stun doesn't affect the really big guys now. It's really nice. Can't stun lock them.
And now the ones that will stun lock
Oh
you.
no. And they're immune. Love it. That was a great fireball. Nice. it didn't go off fast enough. Oh. Yeah, these things are mean. Get up, Shiv. Save us all, Shiv. Max, I'm gonna work on the one you're on. Oh, it's immune. Oh my god. You get 2 of those on you and you're done. Those things are mean. Hey, the good part is if I die, I'll just be right at my house.
Yeah.
I'll go in tank mage, guys. No, slow's doing really well. We just got to get rid of the, we've got to kill these. The wisp. Oh, that was a good fireball right there. On me. Cluster them up, guys. Oh, here we go. Are you going to have the ability to have us have a color change on our mice, our pointers? So instead of gold, you could go blue, or.
Well, we could also sell some modifications for modding options for UI in the future.
That'd be cool.
Recoloring.
Yeah.
Stop trying to stab the wisp. Who keeps trying to stab the wisp? It's not going to work.
Those who don't know about the wisp. Oh, that's
okay.
awesome.
Okay, the fight is over. I guess the frame rate took a bit of a hit with a lot of particles. We need to optimize those.
Yeah, a little bit. I only went down to 50. I only went down to 50, which was not bad actually, considering how much we had.
Yeah, but some particles are a bit too heavy, so.
Yeah.
So I guess it's those. Well, you can be free to loot these guys, so no problem. Can enjoy that. I mean, they don't have much loot, I guess, in general. But if you want this one, I leave it to you. And, well, it was a pleasure. My girlfriend is going to kill me. The looks are getting meaner and meaner by the minute.
All right.
So I think I have to leave you. But it was a lot of fun.
Thank you so very much. Us as a stream, I appreciate you guys in chat. Thank you so very much for hanging out. Jacopo, thank you so much. We'll hear from you again. Thank you. And also, guys, girls, go check it out. The links will be down below. Jacopo, I know you got to do you. Anything you want to say in closing?
Well, thank you for being here. Just that. Thank you for supporting Fractured. I mean, it's I know it's very banal, it's very obvious to say, but our biggest strength is our community. I think we have one of the nicest communities ever, right? If I go on other, many other games have toxic communities, or anyway, a lot of complaints, a lot of tension, a lot of name calling, a lot of bad stuff going on. Our community is 99% super nice and super friendly and welcoming, and it's amazing. Very supportive with other people and very supportive with the developers, with us. So I cannot be happier of having you all here.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Pizza time.
All right, man. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.
Enjoy the Sunday. Bye-bye.
Later, guys.